I'm going to show you some simple drills and exercises which you can include at the start of your warm-up, your workout, which will go somewhere towards protecting you against injury, but more importantly, potentiate your workout so you get the most from it. All my workouts follow a progression of drill units, and Unit 1 and Unit 2 are the more basic orientated contributions in that they will have more in-place movements and the pre-training, preconditioning exercises, for example, which can combat against common sprint and jump injuries, such as jumper's knee and Achilles tendonitis. Unit 2 has more dynamic exercises, and then Units 3, 4 and 5 are going to include the more specific work, such as sprinting, more dynamic sprint drills, plyometrics, and of course technical work. If you want to find out more about how I specifically structure my training, then why not consider becoming a Coach Athlete member? Head over to the channel's homepage, click on the memberships button and go to the Coach Athlete offering. Here you're seeing some single leg squats where the emphasis is on the lowering eccentric phase. This exercise is great for protecting against jumper's knee. Next up, we've got some isometrics, and we've got an isometric sprint press where you place your hands against a wall, lift up onto the toes of the working leg and really force yourself into the wall to create a lot of isometric force. Free thigh also needs to be held up and driven up as well. Usually we'll hold positions for about 10 seconds, 3 to 4 reps on each side where applicable. Next up is a step back lunge, and the emphasis here is on a light plyometric reaction to the contact, but also with a heel recovery to wake up, warm up the hamstrings for the more dynamic work to follow. In a similar vein for the hamstrings and hips, we've got some in-place sprint posture, front to back leg cycles and back to front leg cycles. We'll do 2 to 3 sets of 10 repetitions of these types of movement. Another example of the type of work that we do in this Unit 1 is the walk through the takeoff movement, where the takeoff movement is led via the hip swing. So you're driving the movement from the hip. Sometimes we will do it more dynamically so that you actually leave the ground, but that has to be done via the hip swing. So this warm-up exercise is warming up the hip area, but also sowing the seeds in the jumpers' minds about how to take off properly, how to coordinate the movement. So your warm-ups should prepare you physically and mentally. Okay, let's take a look at some of the content that I will include in a Unit 2. This is where we get more dynamic. Now I've got various options that I will include here, but I'm going to show you some preliminary jumping drills. So we've got some fast eccentric jumps. So you drop down as quickly as you can and then you jump up from 2 feet. We'll do say 2 times 10 repetitions of those. Also we've got some forward to up jumps where you've got to transfer your forward momentum into vertical momentum. 1 to 2 sets of 6 jumps there. Here we've got some kneeling to jump up to land to jump forwards jumps. So these are all about opening the hips, but they do require a lot of neural mental focus in order to move from that kneeling position. So they're going to get you ready mentally for intense workouts, and this is the potentiating benefit of doing exercises such as those. Here we have another great exercise for the hip swing, takeoff position, and indeed sprint drive. From a kneeling lunge position, jump up into the air predominantly by swinging the hip away from you and hitting a takeoff shape. So you need to push down through the front leg as well, but as you push down, drive up the free leg as fast as you can. Now we'll do 6 to 8 repetitions from each leg, 1 to 2 times. I vary the volume depending on the time of the training year. So as we close in on the outdoor season or the indoor season, we will do less, but we will also include more of these types of jumping exercises because they are very dynamic and they are going to transfer more into the more quality orientated work and the high velocity needs of the particular time of the training year. I mentioned in last week's video at the time of making this video, which was on sprint acceleration, how the soleus muscles and the gastrocnemius muscles of the calf are crucial for holding the positions out of the blocks, and indeed for sprinting and jumping in general. So this jumping drill here with a bent knee focus is attempting to load the soleus and the gastrocnemius, the calf muscles, to a greater extent than if there was hip extension and knee extension involved. So the work that you've seen prepares the jumpers and sprinters for the more intense work to follow in Unit 3, for example, of a typical training session. I'll just show you a couple of things that we will do in Unit 3 for reference, but we'll focus more on those in another video. So here you're seeing a drop jump into a sprint. The athlete lands on 2 feet from the box and then sprints forwards for 10 meters. Now this is typical of the work that we're doing at this stage of the training year prior to the outdoor season, because we're looking at heightened transference. This complements, or rather transfers, the strength, power and elasticity which we've developed via the medicine ball drills, which I've made videos on. So what I'm trying to show you is how each unit and each training phase dovetails with the subsequent one to maximize the potentiation across the training blocks as well as within the training unit. As I always say, it's really important not to just sit back and do the same workouts over and over again. You've got to challenge yourself, so by introducing new exercises on a reasonable level. Obviously you don't want to introduce new exercises every workout, but by introducing 1 or 2 throughout a training phase, the body will have to adapt to them mentally and physically, and that's crucial so that you can keep trying to elevate response to training. Well, I hope what I've explained in this video in terms of how we utilize various drills and exercises in the preliminary stages of our workout will help you understand how you can better structure a training session that will potentiate and protect against injury, for example. By giving you then some examples of what we do in Unit 3 of a session, you can see how those exercises at this particular time of the training year potentiate the more dynamic exercises. Now it's important that your training is evolutionary and that each training block potentiates the prior training block. So we're not only potentiating within a workout, but we're potentiating between training blocks. Introducing different exercises that are related to the previous ones will continue the process of adaptation and transfer, and hopefully develop increased power, speed and reactivity by, of course, the selection of appropriate exercises, drills. In future videos, I'll go into more detail about different combinations of drills and training units which I use at various times of the training year. In the meantime, if you want to see a great workout, including reps and sets as to how to prepare you for a workout, then check out this video here. At the time of making this video, we're a couple of weeks away from heading to Portugal for 10 days of warm weather training, and I plan to make some content whilst I'm out there. Potentially a short every couple of days, so do look out for that. Please do subscribe to the channel and feel free to share my videos with other athletes and coaches, as it will help the channel's growth. Good luck with your training and any competitions that you've got coming up, and if you're going warm weather training, let us know where you're going and what the venue's like.